Mr. Deputy Speaker, this bill was intended to provide a limited scrutiny process for EU trade deals that we wish to roll over for the UK to operate post-Brexit. That objective has now largely been achieved, which means that if this bill is to be of any meaningful scrutiny benefit at all, it must now address scrutiny of future trade deals, including with rollover countries and any proposed with countries such as the US, India and China. If we fail to do this, we will have to fall back on a pre-EU 1920s-based system of allowing limited recourse to debates whereby a trade deal can be delayed but not stopped, and then only on ratification but not before signature. This system, now contained in the Cragg Act, is inadequate for modern needs and requires reform towards a system of pre-signature parliamentary approval, as is used by our trading counterparts such as the US, the EU and Japan. The Purvis Amendment 1 from the Lords, itself based on my report stage News Clause 4, is the proposed way of proceeding. It gives Parliament a vote on deals before and after negotiations and will require the Government to report on any changes to food, health, environment, human rights and equality standards. It provides for consultation with devolved authorities, but it specifically retains the Government's prerogative powers to commence, conduct and conclude trade negotiations. This Amendment 1 has the support of all opposition parties and many Conservative colleagues in both houses. It has the support of the NFU, the BMA, many environmental, human rights standards, data use groups and business concerns, the CBI, and on. Against this, ministers complain about loss of prerogative power. But the existing Cragg Act itself restricts such powers, and even if ministers were to stick with Cragg, they are the only people saying that Cragg doesn't need reform. Lord Lansley has provided Amendment 5 that if a relevant committee asks for a ratification debate, then the Government must make time for that to happen. But even this mild, common-sense proposal is rebuffed by ministers. Ministers suggest that a pre-signature vote would make them look less decisive and weaken their hand. But I would suggest that the opposite is actually the case. In the US, negotiations are often strengthened by the executive suggesting that Congress simply won't accept such and such a proposal. As things stand, unbelievably, the UK shall have less legislative scrutiny of trade deals than when we were a member of the European Union. Surely that is not what taking back control was all about. The power of approval that was given to MEPs now needs to come back here to Parliament, not to be forgotten about by ministers. Having proper scrutiny votes will go towards establishing the UK as a modern, democratic, confident, international trading nation. And we should be embracing that by supporting the Purvis Amendment 6, by voting no to the government motion to disagree to that.
Video link. Paul Gavan.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy